Said to kill the bear barehanded so the people won't forget it. Getting money for I was legal to drink. I care what a broke nigga think.
Just like the pack of Lewis.
Look, everything I do so cold. I can do this, both eyes closed. Too short, I stay on my toes. About that guap boy, anything goes. Help the bear if we outside. Help the bear if we outside. Still tipping, baby, nothing changed. I'm still grinding over here, yeah. Still sliding through my own lane. Shorty, nothing funny over here. Dallas rain everywhere around me. Dream to get money. Made it through the storm, living sunny. Dreams came true, now we eating. I got more dreams to chase, gotta reach them. Trying to put a team together like the Hunger Games. Everybody grinding because we all came from hunger pain.
All right. Okay, so how y'all doing? We here. It's beautiful to see y'all sunshiny faces. I know it might be one of y'all that actually watch when I run this show down. You're like, man, hey, the season been back. Where you been? Well, I'm here. Evil is here. I'm ready to talk about it. So with that said, NERDSoul, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all them places, hit that thumbs up because we about to have some fun. And we are not alone. We are joined by the cinematic sorcerer himself. He's right over here. You know what I'm saying? I give to you Solar Gray.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Solar Gray, the cinematic sorcerer, coming at you from the Wizard's Tower. And man, we got some stuff to talk about. We
So,
got some stuff to talk about with this show.
First thing I'm going to say is Solar Gray is brand new to this show. He hasn't seen this show before. I sent it to him, and he just watched the new episode last night. Give us an idea about how you feel about this show.
About this show?
Yeah, in general.
In general, this show makes me want coffee because I've been sleeping on it pretty hard. I'm going, man, this type of thing is my jam. Anything having to do with occultism, you know, as we were talking about before the show started, good versus evil, magic, that kind of stuff. Like, that's all me. That is all me, 100%. So the fact that this one slipped under my radar, and I already like the cast, like that ain't a question. You know, with John Colter, little dude from Person of Interest. I'm digging this whole Patel, you know, just I thought he disappeared into obscurity.
Or Aasif Mandvi, sorry.
Yeah, Aasif Mandvi. I'm like, all right, cool. You know, I thought he slipped off into obscurity to make sure people forgot about him from The Last Airbender. And I'm like, okay, Aasif is still working. Okay, he's teaming up with Luke Cage. All right. We got demons too. And so I was shocked. I was just plain shocked when you hit me up about this. I'm like, let me do a little research into this, and it's like, but what?
Yeah, like you need. Trust me, watch, because he watched the most recent episode. I don't know how much else he watched, but trust me, watch it. The seasons aren't super long. Watch it to get caught, because I know you've watched some recaps, but it doesn't.
I'm fully.
There's many things. There's small things where it's like.
I wanted to make sure that I had at least enough to talk about with you on the show today. And yeah, I'm like, all right, well, looks like I know how I'm spending next week. That this is, I'm gonna catch up on this, because my girl was saying, you know, I was thinking about watching it, but I don't know. I mean, it's just a show called Evil. All right, fine. And I'm like, okay, I see demons, I see the priesthood. I watch Hellstrom on Hulu, you know, with Damien Hellstorm from the Marvel books, and it's cool. But this one is like, all right, look, we got some demons, but we gonna go into the nature of evil and what evil looks like. And I'm like, all right, this is good. This is good.
This show does a good job of that. Like,
and today's episode I found amazingly ironic because I'm watching the show for that exact reason. I'm like, okay, all right, I'm watching this video. I'm watching this show to do today's video, and oh wow. Isn't that ironic? Don't you think?
So even though we have the most recent episode on there, the demon of algorithms, or the algorithm demon or whatever, even though we have that up there, since this is the first episode of us running down of anything in this season, I'm just going to talk about this season up until now, because it's been, and then this episode too, because I'll start with this episode. Okay, so Cheryl, I have no words for you. I don't even know what to say. This is your daughter's husband that you have not only set up, but are now literally torturing your grandchildren, who you pretend or say that you love, their father. When they went in there and Andy was in there, I was like, because shouts to Lisa, Lady Lisa, like an episode or two ago, she was like, is this a recording? And I was like, I don't know, I'd have to go back to the last episode, but it does seem like he's just saying the same thing over and over. Well, yes, he is.
Deep fakes are deep, ain't they?
Man. So essentially, Leland probably recorded through capture technology or whatever, screen stealing, whatever, because he's all up inside her computer from season 1, probably recorded 2 or 3 of their conversations, and it's just been overlaying them ever since. We don't know how long, we don't even know if Andy really made it over there. Like, let's be for real. Oh Oh, man.
Yeah.
Okay. Cheryl was a drunk grandmama. Cheryl was a horrible person, but I at least thought that she might be able to come back. After this,
Wait,
okay,
thought or hoped?
Okay, maybe hoped. I mean, she messed with Leland. Her daughter was like, yo, Leland crazy. The dude, I don't think she ever told her about the demon stuff, but she definitely said he's crazy. He's trying to, attack kids or whatever. And she still messed with him. But I was like, okay. Then she started messing with that little doll, praying to the doll and giving little donations or something to the doll. What is it? The donations? No, it's not donations. It's little sacrifices. Yeah, make a donation to I like to make a donation, but making sacrifices to, what is it, my Eddie or something, doing all that. It was always weird. Then Andy comes in the room, sees a demon at her bed, still weird. But I was like, you know what? She might be able to turn. You know what I'm saying? She might be able to, this right here, I'm done. You cut off, Cheryl. You cut off.
You know, I gotta say, just that whole, now look, the life insurance policy is coming through, even getting an extra $250,000 for the girl's education. So you're more used to them dead than alive. It's like, no, he's not. Who's gonna talk about their first date?
Yeah.
Who they gonna dance with at they wedding? I mean, come on.
Come on, Cheryl. You know you're full of it. If you went to your daughters right now and said, hey, do you want $200,000 or do you want your dad? They're gonna say they want their dad.
Yeah. She goes to her daughter. You want $100 mil, or would you like $1,050,000 or your husband back? Yeah,
because we spent like 2 seasons of them pretty much can't wait until he doesn't have to do this anymore. Yeah. So he finally gets home. Then all of a sudden he gets this offer he can't refuse. We find out, of course, it's funded by Leland and ever his demon cohorts or whatever. Because demons be, like I said, man, in real life, like dumbness be winning, man. Like good people, like we ain't winning. And like the girl said in last episode, she was like, "Have you noticed people are more angry, getting more aggressive? Your side is losing." And I ain't gonna front, man. I feel like we ain't winning. We ain't winning. Like you look outside, it's like, yo, this show is maybe not as Funhouse a mirror as we think, looking at ourselves. But yeah, Cheryl, she's done. She's finished. All right, in my eyes. She's finished. I don't look, whatever she gets, she deserves from here on out. Whatever. And Lady Lisa says, I'm not surprised. I knew there was no coming back for her. And I blame Kristen. Yep, we're going to talk about bad mama Kristen too. Because a bad mama made a bad mama. But it's we going to go there. But her mother should no longer have access to her or her family, period. True that. I agree. No way.
Yeah. See, it's that's a weird one for me. That's a really weird one for me. Because again, our culture, don't give I know I quote Kendrick Lamar a lot right now, but once we done. We're like, nah, look, mom, you boo-boo, you tea, you broke down, you thirsty. I cut you off. I'm done. But that is kind of unique to our culture. Every other culture out there is like, well, that is your mom, that is this, that is that. So I'm like, until they get caught like red-handed with the smoking gun and all that stuff. Like one of the other mamas in this episode.
Bruh.
And I got to give this show props. I really got to give this show props because you warned me. You might be confused, and I see why you would say that. This show makes everything. It makes everything plausible. I'm sitting up with this episode going, all right, hold up. So bravo to the subject matter, which I know we're going to get in. But I'm like, so did the demon in the app turn itself on? Is the demon in the algorithm? Is the demon part of the company? Is Old girl possessed? Is she given undoctored video, or is she given video that a demon put up there? There are so many questions, and I love it. And the more that you know about this stuff, the more that you know about demonology, occultism, ceremonial magic, all that stuff, the crazier it gets, because I can see all the possibilities and each one makes a good story. And I'm so mad that I've been sleeping on this show. Like I said, so mad. This is how it's been
honestly
written.
Feel like I'm the only one watching this show. Whenever I'm online, like last season when I was covering it, season 1, when I still feel, I'm like, am I the only one watching this show? Because this show is actually, because they do an awesome job of being like, okay, this moment was really supernatural. Like, this is really supernatural. This one, this is just a person. But then they peel it back and it's like, oh, so this person, because then it also plays with evil just has to nudge the right person. And evil just has to find a person that already has already angry about this or angry about that, and just be like, that's it. So sometimes it's not, Satan kicks down the door. No, now it's just like the algorithm. He's like, well, watch this video. Watch this one. Watch this one. And the next thing you know, you went from watching how to
make a margarita. How to make a margarita to your husband's cheating on you. You best call him. And I'm like, now don't get me wrong. In the circles that I've run over the course of my life, again, I've seen how easy this stuff is. And you're absolutely right. Yeah. That nudge, that one little nudge. Sometimes it's as little as 7 words, just 7 little words. And here's the thing. And this is one of the things I think they're showing really well. The nudge can be in either direction. Yeah. What I'm seeing with this show, unlike a lot of shows that deal with good versus evil, or more to the point, the Catholic and Christian mythological paradigm of demons are real. We get demons running around doing stuff, causing fires, getting 20 feet tall. And it's like the angels and God and all that stuff on the other side ain't nowhere to be found. It's left up to people. But on this one, it's like with the other stuff, with, big old spectacle and stuff, it implies that the forces of good just need to nudge people in the right direction, because fundamentally people are good. That's the overall motif. But in this show, it's showing all it takes is a nudge in either direction for people. Like, people are solidly in the middle, and you don't get the demons running around pulling a Loki in the Avengers, making people kneel and causing nuclear war and stuff. Sometimes it's, hey, buddy, new notification on this app. Hey, you want a new recipe?
And then, like, you'll see, you probably saw it in one of the recaps, but there's all of these different houses of demons that are doing their own little thing. So it's like, it's almost looking at like different cells of like terrorists that are like, all of them, it's like, basically the idea is like, Satan gives a call out, all right, y'all, cause hate, chaos, confusion, whatever, do your thing. And they all got their own little plan. So it's like, some demons are kind of like, well, hey, I could possess one person, or I could possess one person that goes onto an app that causes other people to copy that person. Now, they won't be possessed, but it will open their spirit up for me to then influence them. So I can influence, I can let my money work for me in the stock market.
Okay. So funny thing. In the book For Good Omens, Neil Gaiman, Terry Pratchett, they did an Amazon show on it. There is what they call the Demon's Moot, which is every day they get together and they talk about the evils they did to the world. And the big, dark, evil demons are like, I tempted 100 people today. Well, I drove 6 people to violence, and I made these people denounce the forces of good. And the main demon, or one of the main character demons, the one, I believe it's Azazel or Azrael, either one, one of the two. He was like, I offset the traffic lights in Trafalgar Square by 4 seconds. And they're like, whatever. And the narrator was like, Old demons don't understand modern technology. By offsetting the traffic lights by 4 seconds, he
You've
caused traffic
angered
jams,
millions. You've
who
angered
then
millions.
who then go home and yell at their wives and beat their children and drink harder and get into bar fights. Exactly. So, the butterfly effect, or the Rube Goldberg effect of influence, is something that a lot of writers have looked over in the course of metaphors with good and evil and all that stuff. But there's an old statement that the devil is in the details.
Yeah.
Okay, the devil
Yeah.
is truly in the details. And
that's what makes
again,
this show so awesome.
yeah. And with the details, there comes plausible deniability. Like the big thing about the end of season 2, where it was like, wait, did they smash?
Yeah.
Did they smash? Did they not smash? And this episode, it gave more ammunition to, no, they didn't. No, they didn't. They didn't.
Because then we see,
but he wanted to, but they didn't.
Yeah,
They didn't.
yeah. Because the demon was like, at this moment, you're perfectly ready. So it's like when she came back, I remember in the premiere for this season, I remember being like, oh man, come on, man. Come on. Like I was like, Kristen, come on. And then I was like, David, come on. Like, y'all know, first, she is a married woman, sir. Also,
With 4
Mr.
kids.
Priest. Mr. Priest.
Yes. Yes.
So I felt bad because I felt like, okay, I know it's there. Y'all are around each other a lot. And, what I'm saying, it kind of organically, the attraction kind of came. But
Not
y'all
to
should
mention the
have
whole traumatic experiences
Yes.
that they go through together. I mean,
all the time.
It's a real thing. It's plausible.
But I was
as much
hoping,
as I hate the will they won't they mechanic of most of these stories.
but this one,
I hate it, but at least this one is plausible.
Yeah, and this one doesn't play off in the normal. It doesn't play off like it does in Cheers or your average show where,
Yeah.
it doesn't, like, for the most part, you see them kind of aware of it and actively being disciplined about it. Like, okay,
Yes.
cool. I know we're feeling each other kind of, but we know why. So we're going to kind of like job and separate,
Yeah.
separate. And
Exactly.
then when we find out,
Like I might bring you to
the
the cookout, but we ain't gonna be in the same room alone together, type of thing.
Yeah.
So
then we see that it's actually a demon that comes in the returning of Kristen instead of actual Kristen. Then you're like, oh no. I mean, it's good that they didn't do, but now, David, what have you opened yourself up to? What have you allowed into your spirit now that this has been done? And how
that's
is this
exactly
going to play
what
out
the
this
Bible
season?
thumping nun was asking.
What is it, Sister Andrea? Oh,
Yes,
she the bomb. You trust me. When you see her,
Look,
Sister Andrea is like, she is like the
Bible
Yoda of
thumping
this show.
I'm not saying that in a derogatory manner. She literally beat the demon with the Bible. I'm like, yeah, all right.
Yo,
There's a reason
Sister
that book is so
Andrea
heavy.
is like, she is an awesome addition to the show. Like when you see her coming in season 2, you're like, yo, this is what we need. Like now, David ain't listening to nobody, but that's a whole nother thing. Like he ain't listening to her, and
He's got the demon on one shoulder.
True.
He needs the angel on the other.
Yeah.
Okay, that is the real thing.
Yeah,
and
but
again,
it's just-
these writers are being very, very balanced in their approach and subtle enough to keep us interested, but plausible. Plausible.
Yeah.
Like I'm looking forward to watching this with my girlfriend because she is very, 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 very much one of those people who don't just try and guess the ending. She tries to guess the resolution to every scene. And I'm like, okay, good luck.
Yeah,
so
because
she's like, is there this? I'm like, I don't know. I'm not thinking on that.
They definitely throw a lot of, because I mean, even with Cheryl, with Kristen's mom, I thought she was just like, we wouldn't really see her after season 1. And in this season, we see that she has gotten what she deserves. she finds out something at her job. She's literally in tears, but it's like, you know what? You asked for this.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody told you to leave Leland alone. Now you in too deep.
Yeah.
And
Leland.
She's in this scene with Leland saying, when you look at the boss, what do you see? He was like, what do you see? And she was like, she starts like kind of like breaking down a little bit. He was like, how many eyes does he have? And she's like, 5. And he's like, but you asked for this. You saw him at these weird parties. They was cutting flesh and all this weird stuff. You should have left them, but no, can't nobody tell you nothing. Now you in too deep. Now it's over. Now, who knows? If you leave, they could harm your family. I mean, shoot, technically, I guess they could do it now. But now you in too deep. You don't know what they might do. Also, all the stuff you let them do to you is just stupid. But
and you know, I gotta say, you brought up Leland. Parents out there, y'all do that whole thing. You should feel no shame for sitting over the shoulders of your kids when they on the internet.
Thank you.
Because them girls took him down hard. He's messing with them in the wrong place, man.
Shouts to Alexis.
World. Yeah.
And well, this season again, I'll say this season again, shouts out to all of those young actresses. I can't think of their names right now, but they honestly seem like true sisters, and they're not. Like when you see them from the beginning of the show, do they get annoying sometimes? But in a way where it's like, yeah, they're sisters. Like they're definitely these are sisters.
Like that's what siblings act like, and that's definitely what they act like when there are so many of them.
They are, as a group, they're killing it. And then Alexis has been awesome because Alexis has a tie to something that was opened up in season 1 about the embryos that have been, which is a whole nother storyline, or the eggs that have been frozen, that have been tampered with by the occultists, which is a whole nother storyline that I think is probably going to circle back up. I think that they want us to think that they've dropped it. I don't think they've dropped it. I think they're going to bring it back up at the end of this season or something like that. But all of these children that they've messed with in some way, shape, or form, which they were like researching, and all of them ended up having these weird kind of like evil or demonic or some kind of situation with them. So you got Alexis, and she's like, okay, Leland's messing with me. Kristen knows. Kristen's like, leave him alone. But she's like, I want to know what he wants to know. And I'm like, Alexis, I get you. And I'm glad that you getting your Batman on right now, but you're still a child, and you're my child. And I need you to be careful, because you trying to think that you smart. It's like, he like, no, I know you trying to be smart, and I'm still smart. And then you going to get in trouble, and then I'll have to save you. Like, you almost like, tell me.
Yeah, almost like real children. And it's like you're sitting up going, I know you think you know everything, but get out of band camp first.
Wow. You know? Lady Lisa said, I think she's going to end up being Leland's child. Wow. If that, man, that would be wow. Because, all those frozen eggs, we don't know where they're getting we don't know. We have no idea.
Yeah.
Maybe that's his weird, because he hasn't made a connection with any of the other girls. I mean, he's like said hi and stuff, but it seems like he's really zeroing in on Alexis.
It is but the Watchmen on that, because I noticed that when it came to all the VR stuff, and I'm like, oh, look, it's the pig with the glasses talking to the lizard girl. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
They
probably symbolism there too.
Yeah, because Alexis has like a little kind of like tail kind of thing. It's something that they think, I think they want us to think that they've dropped, because she has like super sharp teeth like for her canines, and then she has like a little tail, which is due to them messing with these eggs and stuff, or the eggs in the embryo, whatever it is. So them putting him on blast, I was like, nice. This is a perfect way to have what I would assume is kind of like a mid-season sort of, because this is what, episode 6, 5? Yeah. I think this is 6. So this is a nice little morsel where the good guys kind of won a little bit and the bad guys kind of won a little bit.
Yeah.
Because David definitely seems like he's going down a path, even with the I know they say Friends of the Vatican. I'm gonna just call it the Vatican CIA. That's what I'm gonna just call them. That is like the dude comes up, he's like, hey, go do this, or go put this here, or go if you are a friend of the Vatican. It's like, yeah, but y'all definitely killed that guy, right? And it's like at the same time, it's like, well, yeah, that dude, he worked for demons, and I mean, if we work for God, then I mean, we gotta. Yeah. But yeah. I get it, but it's like y'all are like the Vatican CIA. So that's what
they are. They're
so that's
I
what
believe they were called the Dominicans actually, but yeah. So we're gonna talk about the plot of this episode, the overall plot of this episode, because
with the TikTok of essentially the TikTok of it all, and how you get into these small corners of these apps, and you're like, oh, I thought this app was all dances and challenges. And yeah, you don't know what some challenges might bring. And, you know, you get this magician who may or may not, because we haven't followed up with this magician yet. He may or may not be one of these houses or influenced by one of these houses to do what he does. And you got all of these people eating real glass, man.
And one last note on these houses. You're saying they're kind of like terrorist cells. I look at them more like
the best way to describe it, sort of.
I look at them more like governance. They're like state governments vying for power to see who can take down the federal government. And yeah, so this whole thing with the influencers and all that stuff. Now, as your viewers know, I'm real big on role-playing games and stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And back in the 80s, there was a thing called Satanic Panic, where essentially the moral majority of the country published all this stuff talking about how this is evil and that is evil, and this is demon possessing your kids, and that's demon possessing your kids. And you know, wouldn't it just be fine if our kids just shut up, sat down, and acted like little adults until they got out of our damn house? And that's kind of what this plot leans toward, you know, on that whole, all right, well, at least they're not leaving it to a school shooting. That's it. But even if that is the message, okay, if that is the message, because, you know, let's do real talk. This is Paramount Plus, CBS. This is programming for old people. All right. So chances are your grandmama is watching this show before your nieces and nephews are.
Yeah.
So
I honestly think they are trying to change that though. Seeing
trying to change
the moves
it
that Paramount is making, I think they want to. I think they're trying to shed that. I think they're trying to shed that now. But I know what you're saying. Yes, their normal demographic is older gentlemen.
Yes, their normal demographic was my parents, who ain't plugged into social media and stuff like that. So I can kind of see very much that whole, oh no, I got to get my kids off of the tick of this. Because, you know, I don't want them eating my vanity. And if they black parents, they sure as hell ain't eating my vanity. I paid too much money to get that put in the bathroom, you know? So, you know, and yeah, you know, I come from one of those houses like, boy, you heal. I'm going to have to replace that. So, but what I do like is, yeah, there might be a little demon influence on that, but the way that they depict it is very much like, it's so plausible that you are either going to get people who understand the metaphor or people that don't understand the metaphor and take it as fact, you know, just with that whole, even when they spelled it out for the people in the back, like, no, if you pause on something for a little long, then it's going to send you more of that. Even if you don't hit like and subscribe, which you really should be hitting like and subscribe right now, so you get more videos like this little barbershop discussion we having right now.
Yep. See
what I did there? See that?
I see.
But yeah. So with that whole thing and just watching all three of them react, you know, you've got Patel or Asif Mani with his stuff, and all of his stuff was, hey guys, I'm trying to help. Don't be like this. This is how he does it. Met with immediate outrage. Like, I'm gonna argue with you because that's your personality type. Oh, lonely priest. Yeah, there's a lot of them trying to commit suicide right now. Just saying, I'm not advocating for it. I'm just letting you know that.
Just saying, there are a lot of them committing suicide. I mean,
yeah, that's all. And hey, don't you live on the 3rd floor? No, anyway. And of course, you've got the main chick's name. What's her name again?
Kristen.
And you got Kristen, and I was really interested in her thing because I reacted viscerally for a hot minute, because it was like, yeah, when the conversations get weird and he cuts him off short, then that's how you know he's cheating on you. And I react viscerally because one of my big things is I'm a big fan of dealing direct with your significant other. So, it gets on my nerves when single girls go to other single girls trying to find out what guys want and they don't listen to the guys in their life. So, it's like, if you want to know if your man is cheating on you, go to his friend that's lukewarm on him, not the one that's cool on him. Just, go to like his second cousin.
Oh boy.
Well, if the guy is cool on him, he might be lying for the negative. But if the friend is ride or die, then he gonna lie for him, because we all seen Kevin Hart's thing. But you go to that one dude, that coworker that works in the same office and hears all the talk but ain't part of it because he's not cool enough and all that stuff, and just strike up a conversation and let something slip. Essentially get your information about demographics you are not part of from people that are part of that demographic. And that whole, well, if it's like this, he's cheating on you and all that stuff. And I'm like, why are you being insecure? You already, okay. Okay. See, you feeling guilty. Y'all need to have a talk.
Yeah. See,
because
you feeling guilty.
That kind of thing gets exploited by the forces of darkness as well. I'm really liking that. See, it's really interesting. As someone who has studied occultism, demonology, and who researches this stuff in real life, I gotta say, one of my colleagues must be an advisor on this show, because the way that they're writing the demons is the demons get in by just picking away at the stuff you're already insecure about. And that's what got me on this episode, because most social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, what are the other ones? Twitter, subscribe to all of us on all those. They really pick away at your insecurity. Like, I'm going through something, I'm gonna look it up on TikTok, I'm gonna look it up on YouTube, I'm gonna look it up on this. And it's like, oh, you're insecure about that? Well, let me just get my horns polished up and be like, hey, bet you want to be popular, don't you? Yeah, you should learn some Latin, and
This
the way
Latin.
that it, and the way that it showed the different ways, again, putting at the outrage and stuff like that, but it kept showing, look at what happens when you get all these likes, when people comment on your videos, when people try and start an argument with you,
And this is the second episode where I think either maybe Kristen or one of them are like, so they did this for clout? Like, this is, and it's like, because remember, this is one thing that, and I've said this without this show, one thing that social media has shown us is that there are so many people willing to do a whole lot to be, or at least feel seen.
Yes.
And they're willing to do way more than what they would naturally or normally do without that. And then you start to think about, okay, well, if you're to believe that our battle is not with man, but with was it like forces or principalities of those things unseen or whatever? If you're to believe that, then you would think, well, what would inspire someone to create something like this, or create an algorithm like this that would do that? Because what could seem like inspiration to one could be a long-term plan of Leland to be like, oh, see, you think you're being smart and you're cutting edge of your industry. What you're really doing is opening up the door for us because there's so many people that are hurt and broken and insecure because they've never had access to a hug, someone genuinely telling them that they love them, someone genuinely loving them, someone giving them therapy or whatever. And we're waiting to give them all the guidance they don't need. And now you have this, we have like 2 episodes this season where it's like, interesting, because each season is going through like these different ways where it's like, no, this is just people, but kinda, is it? Are you sure? Are we here? Are we doing this? Are we not doing this? But either way, you're losing, David.
That is an interesting point. The thing that I find interesting about that, and this is me giving you the flip side of the coin, I don't like the idea that innovations and stuff like that are not a human thing. It falls in the realm of ancient aliens for me. All right. With the just because it has this effect doesn't mean that people can't do it, you know. But what I do know, I know for a fact, is that there are things out there, let's call them human, that have the position of opportunist. Okay. So it can very much be the type of thing where, did you cover the Batman? Did you cover the Batman?
Yeah, we covered that.
Okay, so good. So the watchers are like, all right, so hey, spoiler time.
Spoiler for a movie that's been in the theater. Come home.
Yeah, hey, you know what? I'm just trying to cover bases. I'm trying to spare you some shade, bro.
My thing is, if it's already on home release, I'm not giving any warning.
Cool.
It's on home release. You can see it.
So that's the thing. The mob did not invent the charitable fund. Okay. Thomas Wayne invented the charitable fund for that city. It's just the bad people seized it.
Yeah.
You know, they took that good thing and said, oh, well, I can use it this way. The technology points equally in both directions. You know, like when people discovered the concept of a hammer, it can be a tool, it can be a weapon. It depends on whose hands it's in, you know.
And Lady Lisa says, what is your take on where Ben's mind is now versus in the very beginning when he wanted to explain everything with just science? Ben, you know, Ben is in an interesting place because like his sister is still a believer. His sister's still very much a believer. Even in this 3 episodes ago, she was like, she said something like, he said something like about Allah and like, or like, if you believe, she was like, I don't have to believe in Allah. It just is. It's just true. So she's like, she's still very much a believer. Mm-hmm. Ben, I think, is in this place where it's like, okay, I've seen some stuff. I can explain a good amount of it, but I've seen some stuff where I don't know where I'm at now, which is why he had to do the whole thing where there's this episode where they go and he kind of like gets back to his roots of science and stuff. But his sister would still let him know, like, yeah, sometimes you ain't gonna be able to explain it. Like some things, they just are. They're just gonna happen. Just because it happens, you're not gonna be able to be like, oh well, I'll just write that down in my journal of explanations. Like but she also still, she is a believer. Like, you know, like this is, but he's had that vision with him and his mother, who is now dead, and that vision was no different than how David's visions are of angels and demons. And then you have that moment when he was in that basement, which was another. So Ben is in a place where he's like, man, look, I seen some stuff. It's kind of like Winston in Ghostbusters. He's like, look, y'all got a steady check. I believe whatever you say. Then he sees some stuff. He's like, all right, okay, well, okay, there's some stuff out there. I can't explain everything, but Just watch it back. There's some stuff out there.
Well, and Ben is also a trope. Okay, he is a trope. He is like expanding the normal trope. You brought up the X-Files thing. Expanding the X-Files to 3 characters. Okay, 3 characters with the psychologist being firmly in the middle. All right. She's got the science and she explains everything away, but she knows something's up because she got burned by a cross herself.
Yep. They tried to explain it, but they tried to explain it, but it was like
either way, she makes it very clear that she believes.
Yeah.
And but she also recognizes that science is there as well. So you need Ben on the other side, even to the point where, much like Scully, even when they see some stuff, they fall back on the Carl Sagan saying that too many uneducated people fall on, which is any technology sufficiently advanced will appear no different than magic, or will be indistinguishable from magic.
Yeah.
And that's a really, really, really big thing where he's seen some stuff, but because of his thing with science, he will happily categorize it as psychology, as they've already touched on psilocybin and doing the magic mushroom thing. So he always has an out to stay atheist or agnostic or however it is the show is trying to portray him to. So that's very much a thing, like but for his character, he doesn't have to believe in the supernatural to address what's going on. Again, just like Winston, I have seen some stuff that will turn your hair white. That's about where he stands.
Yeah. He's like, look, okay, I don't know if I'm all in with David here. And I don't know if I'm willing to let my sister lead on a lot of this stuff. Because his sister is straight up a scientist. Like his sister is like him and his sister are kind of cut from the same cloth, sort of like mentally at least. They're both super duper smart, sciencey people. But his sister is like, yeah, the supernatural exists. Like, yes, we have the natural, we have science, blah, blah, blah. And then there's the supernatural, that there's some stuff that we ain't gonna explain. And we ain't never gonna be explained. And it just is because Allah is. And
because his sister is a good scientist.
Yeah, because she is firmly in that. Yeah. And I was I don't think I've ever seen that on TV where someone, so usually on TV or in film, someone's like, oh, well, I believe God because this, and this. And she was like, no, like God just is. That's it. There's no other discussion. It is, just like oxygen is. And it's just interesting to see her term it that way. I was just like,
I want to address
especially with how he is.
Yeah, I do want to address that because it's something that annoys the crap out of me as a science guy. TV and all this stuff has created this mindset that science, religion, magic are all different because science is. And I'm like, stop it with this religion of science. All right. The primary thing of science is categorizing what we can observe. And people take it as if I can't observe it, it doesn't exist. And it's like, no. It just means we haven't written a book about it yet. That's all. That's it. Science does not mean everything and how the universe works and all that stuff. Like this was something that was drilled into us in college because I got an undergrad in physics. And my professors were like, look, the number one thing you got to get is that we don't know. We don't know for sure. We're here to find out observable and observable fact, repeatable procedure. We don't know what the truth is. That's for the philosophers. we're just writing down how stuff works as far as we can figure out. This is why science is always changing. Okay. This is why in 85, eggs and cholesterol were bad. And then 87, they were good. And then 92, nobody knew which one. And, it's a thing. New data changes what science says.
Yeah. And then Lady Lisa said, it's nice to see someone who is willing to say that both exist. I think most people feel pushed to choose either one or the other. Yeah, and that also might be it's got to be Pepsi or Coke or Sega or Nintendo or something like. So it's like you can't
like
just
cola, cola
like,
and video games.
Yeah, it's like it's gotta. You either have to be religious or you have to be a scientist. And I remember my. I'm trying to remember what teacher. I think when I was in like Manchester, I remember one of the teachers kicking up a lot of dirt because I remember in my class, this one kid was like, God does not exist. And we were was it chemistry? I think we were in chemistry. And he was like, God doesn't exist. And he was like, are you sure? And he was like, I know he doesn't exist, blah, blah, blah. I was like, and he said, great. Write up a 500-word paper on it, have it on my desk in the morning. And it got turned into him telling the kid to write something religious and blah. I remember that vividly because what the point he was getting at, and it kicked up some dirt, because I remember he had to leave the classroom and he was outside talking with the vice principal, and we were just like, what are they saying? And it was like, so like it kicked up some dirt. But I remember basically he was like, look, we don't know. Like, I mean, have you seen him to know that he exists, or have you seen enough to say, seen someone or seen him to know that he's not God? Or something? Like you have to, because we prove things in here. That's what we do. This is for science, we prove things. And not to say that God does exist, but we're also saying that we don't know if he does or if he does not. And he was like, that's where we are now. We can't prove it. We can't disprove it. So
I would have written up your teacher because it is scientifically impossible to prove a negative. You can't prove that something does not exist. You can only prove that something isn't present. There's a big different thing in the sense of, if you look in your driveway, your mama's car ain't there, but that doesn't mean your mama don't have a car. It just means it's not where you're looking, Yeah.
But still, I wouldn't have written him up because the kid stopped the whole class for a good 10 minutes to do his diatribe. I would have just been like, look, man, hey, look, the kid's parents is man. Just don't, if they say something, just let it go.
No, I'm saying I would have written him up for bad scientific procedure, but that's just me. I remember when I was tutoring science and people would come to me with religious stuff. I'm like, I'm not here to debate you. The way that I look at it is religion says that, science said how. I don't see much of a difference between the Big Bang and let there be light. So there we go. Okay, that's a whole big thing. Because then you got mythology in there somewhere, which was at some point truth for different civilizations. So are they wrong? Are they right? It's just too many questions.
Yeah,
of course, I asked the base scientific question of why. Why is this so important? Like, let's say you want to know the truth and all that stuff. Why do you want to know? what purpose?
All I know is that kid was
living your life.
That kid would stop the class almost all the time. It wouldn't even have anything to do with, like, we wouldn't even be talking about God. It would, like, our teacher never brought up God. And like that kid found a way to bring, and we'd be like, it was all right, imagine half of the class groans. Imagine half, but what'd she say?
It sounds like that kid was a PK.
Well, I'm a PK, and I was part of the class that groaned. I was like, here we go again. Okay, so wake me up when you're done with trying to prove to the teacher that God doesn't. And we're not even talking about God. Like we were talking about Bunsen burners, man. Like, how do we get here? how do we get on this? But
all we're doing is weighing the chemical weight of butane. What is
this kid was like? I remember he was like dead set on being like, I'm gonna prove it to you that he doesn't exist. And we were just like, honestly, we don't care. Like we just want to like do what we're supposed to do today, man. Like we don't care anymore. But I remember that vividly, because he was just like, all right, well, if he was like, you got the proof? He was like, I can prove it. It's like, all right, write it up, bring it up tomorrow. He was like, basically, like, shut up and let me teach my class. And that I remember that became a thing. But yeah,
the proper teacher response is, we'll talk about it after school.
We'll put a pin in that. We'll have a meeting. We'll have a meeting about the meeting.
Matter of fact, bring your parents in. I'll have this talk with you and your parents. Now, as I was saying on page 135.
Look, we'll cover that later. That's the next chapter.
And
you can just say that over and over again. That's in the next chapter. It's like, but we're now in chapter 10. It's you know what? It's in the next chapter.
Okay. In all fairness, though, that was also on your teacher, because if it did happen all the time, after the third time, you quit calling on that student. Be like, ooh, oh yeah. Anybody got any questions?
He never called on him.
Anybody other than Josh have any questions?
Come on, you've been in that class when like there's a kid that just wants to start fights with the teacher. At least I have. I've been in numerous classes where like there's a kid that just wants to debate. He has to debate the teacher. Like he or she has to prove that they're smarter than all of us. I've been in like 3 of those classes before. Like the teacher doesn't call on them. Like the teacher is I don't know, such and such wrote this book in 1975. Well, actually, it was written in 73 and then it was published into. It's just like, okay, yeah, all right. So continuing on, it's like you can't, like you're not calling on the kid. It's like I didn't ask you. I was just trying to do this. I mean, thank you for letting me know when the first film crew was on set, but I mean, the movie came out in 2022.
I will say this, as seen as I feel right now,
I
know the solution that I've seen many teachers go through is interrupt my lecture one more time and you're spending the rest of class in the counselor's office. You know, just saying. But yeah, I've seen it done that way once.
I've seen numerous kids like this. And you know what? Two of them I'm pretty sure they're Karens now. Because when you think about it, that's like that Karen energy. It's like Karen, that's pre-Karen right there. Those 2 girls are probably Karens now. It's definitely like the Karenistic energy. But anyway, back to this. Ben,
yeah.
I like where Ben is because Ben showed in this episode, you can try your best to be like, hey, people, look, like this is fake. Look, see, and
not on social media, bro.
On social media. It's a perfect example of a lie can get around the world before truth gets its pants on. Like it's like you get up, you be like, hey, that's not true, and everybody's like, it's true, and it's like, well, no. See, it's not true. No, that's not true. Everybody's like, yeah, it's true. Everybody's like excited about it. They're not only saying it's true, but they're hype about it.
Yeah, the one that got to me, like with Ben, is when I say like not on the internet, I'm like, oh, outrage culture. I kind of dig it because the first one they showed was some goth chick. Yeah, was some goth chick going, who are you to talk about possessions? And I'm like, you don't know what he does for a living, do you?
I've been around mad possessions. Like I'm probably one of the best people to talk about it. That's like at the Vatican, I guess.
I mean, if there was ever a moment of, do you know who I am? You know, because it's like, man, who is this Calvin fool talking about how mumble rap is stupid? I don't know who he is. Forget him. He don't know nothing. It's like, that's Snoop, yo. That's like, I don't know, some Marshall M talking about I got to work on my flow. Who's he to talk about? Some Marshall. Shoot, my mama didn't name me after no clothing store. Yeah. But yeah, like,
he's a pretty notable artist, and
it's kind of one of those things. He's
been around the block a couple of times with
but it's that whole outrage of like, this person is disagreeing with me, therefore they are stupid, and they show that, and I'm just like. Yeah, that's pretty much what it looks like. It's like, I remember during the Obama administration where you get those preloaded outrage people. I say preloaded because, I don't want to be like dropping any controversial bombs, but oh, who does she think she is telling me to let my kids play outside and eat their vegetables? It's like, one, she's the first lady, and two, is she wrong?
Every first lady has always talked about like nutrition and kids playing outside. Yeah. What's the difference with this first lady? Oh, well, that's the difference.
Like I said, preloaded for outrage. And,
no one said that to Mrs. Bush or Mrs. Reagan or any of them.
Oh no, a lot of people said that to Mrs. Reagan. Matter of fact, because it's the how do you tell a kid from the south side of Chicago who has no job opportunities, their schools are underfunded, and then somebody says, sell this for me and I'll give you $500 to just saying no.
Well, sorry. what I mean by nobody is the traditional media that gives people platforms to speak out about it. None of that was happening. 6, 8, and 12 were not saying, who does she think she is?
Yeah. But and it's like those people preloaded for outrage. And of course, we see them all the time on every subject where it's like, hi, I think people should drink more water. How dare you tell me how to take care of my own water? You know what fish doing that stuff?
It doesn't have any electrolytes.
My body craves something other than water, just like my plants.
Yep. Yeah. I need Powerade or something like
I drink nothing but Brondo and whiskey. So
Brondo.
And again, the internet blows up over that. And I love how over the course of the episode, the app was like, hey man, somebody else left a reply to your video. Not somebody's yelling at you and calling you stupid, or somebody's trying to pick a fight with you, or hey, your video just got 3 more likes or even 3 more unlikes. Just somebody said something. You should come take a look.
Yep.
And I'm like,
it happens.
And these apps, like, they literally sound like a cross between 6-year-olds and drug dealers. And it's showing even from the app side to the algorithm side to the kind of like faking something to be seen side is a huge a huge example of what is going on, and then turning it in a way where could this be evil? Could this be influenced? Or is this just people? Evil. Like, the question is it demonic?
Is it demonic? Or is this just regular evil? Like, there's been times in the show Supernatural when Dean and Sam would come on site and they'd be like, oh no, people are just doing this. Like, so this isn't werewolves or vampires or like, shapeshifters.
No, this is just a bad person.
This people did this. And it's just like, well, I guess we leave. And then usually Dean would be like, it's not our business. And Sam would be like, but they're still killing people. Like, we need to stop them. And Dean would be like, that's for the cops. Like,
it's like, no, we're not equipped and we don't have the authority. Our jurisdiction is supernatural. This is natural. Well, we just
Lady Lisa
the show isn't called natural.
Yeah. the church lady on SNL. Could it be Satan?
Satan? Yeah.
Oh man.
And the answer is yes. When it's social media, yes. Yes, it is.
Yes, it's
no, honestly, and I personally don't believe that even in this show, the demonic forces of the underworld created social media, but I am quite sure that they capitalized on it.
Yeah, they're like, ooh, this is nice. People want to be seen. Huh. Okay.
You know what? We should let them know. We see you. I'm looking right at you right now.
Just like they were like, ooh, Kristen and Andy. I need money, huh? Well, you know what? We have an offer. You can't refuse. Because there's a scene where Leland and Cheryl are talking, and she was like, you have to raise the amount of money because he's going to ask his wife. And Kristen's going to be like, no, not for that. I want my husband home. But if you give him an offer where it's like stupid, like it's it's insane. It's like
800 grand. Yeah.
Then
800,000?
she's gonna be like, she'll be able to be like, okay, it's only 6 more months, fine, and then
6 more months, and the house is paid off.
Yeah, 6 more months, and the house is paid off, and we have our addiction and everything that we want. So it's like that's especially something that's kind of run of the mill. This is what he does. So in your mind, but you never know the plans that other people have for you. So it's like in your mind, you're like, you know what? It sucks. I don't want to do it, but this is an opportunity. That's why you have to, you got to be careful, because even after out of your best guess with him and Kristen, they talked about it and they were like, okay, it seems great. My partner's on board for it. We'll go together. We'll do this. Baby, it's going to be 6 more months, but it'll be over. It'll be fine.
So, and have you seen the movie The Way of the Gun?
No, I've never seen it.
Okay, so James Caan looks at somebody in The Way of the Gun. It's one of the most quotable movies that there is, and it is not fun or easy to watch because its pacing is so slow. But it's got some golden lines, and one of the lines is, "Oh, so you're offering the price is $3 million. $3 million isn't money. It is a motive with a universal adapter."
Okay. Nice.
And when you think about it, it is the answer to any why, and that's how powerful money is. That's that whole thing, because it's
kind of like the question I had about Van Jones getting $100 million from Jeff Bezos. I was like,
again, motive with universal adapter. Hey,
that's a heck of a thank you.
Why'd you break your mirror and start munching on glass? $100 million.
Okay, well, all right.
Why'd you take off your shirt and fall head first down that rocky cliff? $100 million. Right. Oh, okay. Well, that's fine. Yeah, that's I mean, seriously, if the answer is $100 million, you have the answer to any question. Again, a motive with a universal adapter. If it's $100 million cash, you have the motive for anything stupid.
Yeah, because $100 million cash, meaning, my uncle ain't got to take a piece of it. You got it right here in a briefcase. What you trying to get done?
Yeah.
You mean $100 million? Mine right now. They open up the briefcase. Boom. I look at it. I spit. Yeah, that's $100 million.
Hey, wait, $100 million? Yeah. And you meet them dead when?
It's like, you mean,
are you covering gas
right
to
now?
Washington and back or what? I don't know. Because I don't want to walk to Washington Boulevard. That's kind of
like you covering gas because it's kind of hot.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I'll walk if I have to, because I can think of 999,999,995 reasons why. Because I'm gonna have to use that $5 for the bus, But
true. It's a transfer, and then there's no.
Yeah, exactly. So so it's easy to make an offer that you can't refuse with money.
Yeah,
and
he went, and I'm pretty sure. I mean, this isn't the type of show that shows when it happened, but they probably picked this dude up before he probably never even got on the flight. Because notice, Kristen hasn't talked to the business partner. Sooner or later, unless they killed the business partner or maybe paid him off.
Look,
maybe they paid him off.
I will tell you this as someone who studies crime dramas and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. They had them marked before they made the call. Him accepting the offer was the last piece of the puzzle. They probably picked him up at the first red light. Because when he gets in the car to leave, he's got to clear the block just in case honey is out there just going, well, this is the last time I'm going to see my husband for the next 6 months. And then he makes that right turn. Boom. He's gone.
Yeah.
He's it. That's it. That's
because all we need is the call from the business partner being like, hey, I'm sorry, sorry it didn't work out. But like, what do you mean it didn't work out? Because Kristen's like, I got the money. And I've been video chatting with him for the last couple of weeks. And he'll be like, huh? Like,
oh, no. Remember, they already got the business partner. Grandma made that clear.
Oh, yeah, you're right. They do.
Again, so when it comes down, this is
a wrap.
Yeah. And this is, a lot of people think I'm mean, okay? When they're like, oh, I'm worried about this, I'm worried about that. I'm like, nobody's trying to take your kids. You don't make enough money. The risk is not worth the prison stretch. All right. You're paying rent. You don't even own a house. Your kids ain't worth stealing. Because
they are, but it's that's a whole nother level.
Yeah, but in the way of the gun, the longest distance between 2 points is between a kidnapper and their money. So, wow. And if you get caught for kidnapping, that is the third worst thing you can go to prison for. Third. And I mean, amongst the inmates, that is the third worst thing. So it's like, no, when it comes down to you going to kidnap somebody for some reason, you got to have all the I's dotted, all the T's crossed, and you got to make sure it's got no way to be traced or found out. So that business partner that she was talking to, they got him. He's probably another deep fake too. So yeah, I mean, I'm telling you that literally is the whole thing. And if he does, like, even if he works for them and he's not a deep fake, by the time they're done with him, he's dead too.
Yeah. Let me see, how many episodes is this season supposed to have? Trying to think, because we got 6 episodes now. Let's see.
Every season's about 12. So
yeah, it looks like it doesn't say how many. They already renewed it for a 4th season, but I don't know how many. So maybe 12 or 13. So maybe we have, because the first one was 13 and the second one was 13. So I'm guessing this is 13 again. So we got another 7 episodes.
Yeah, that's standard network TV. Like streaming gets 8 to 10, network TV gets 10 to 13 to 26. And so we'll see. 13 could work.
We'll see where we go, man.
So all in all, this episode hooked me. And yeah, like I said, I did some research on it after we got off chat yesterday. And I'm like, all right, cool. I woke up early this morning. I did the stuff. I watched the episode. I started watching the other one, and I'm like, all right, let's do this. Let's go all the way in. Let's check it out. All right, let's do that.
This is an awesome show. So
yeah,
guys, really like I said, I'm gonna throw it right over here. Where can they find you, Cinematic Sorcerer?
Yeah, you can find me Monday through Friday at twitch.tv/BID_P, Monday through Friday at 3:00. Check out my YouTube channel, Solar Gray. And we could talk about all this stuff, writing tropes, tabletop role-playing games, and creation of stories, statistical analysis, spotting tropes, navigating around them. It's that kind of thing. Like, this is real stuff. This is real talk. Like with you're having problems with your English classes or your math classes and stuff like that. We put that stuff in general and understandable context kind of thing. So yeah, come on down. And we also talk about being nerds and playing games and reading comic books and all that jazz too. So yeah, come on down. That's some fun stuff.
So of course, check that out. And hey, enjoy evil. Tell someone else how good the show is. Because I'm feeling like nobody's watching the show, but the show keeps getting renewed. So it's like someone's watching it.
Yeah, our parents.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, it's on CBS.
Or maybe like the whole Catholic community is watching it, and they're just not saying nothing about it. But NERD, SOUL, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all them places. Hit the thumbs up if you like what you see.
Yeah, NERDSoul Light is like the music at the end of an award speech.
You ready to go?
Comes on in, he's like,
say I love all y'all. Say y'all be good.
That'd be good.
All right, now you ready to get? You ready to hold on? You ready? You sure you ready? All right, hold on, go slow. And 2, and all right, now here we go. And peace. Oh man.
Finish him off. If you can't do it, then maybe you should let someone who can.